Hey, what's up? This is Chuck D. You are listening to Toronto Mike right here, right now, in the place to be.
What up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto, Mike, we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love. I'm in Toronto.
Welcome to episode 1684 of Toronto Mic'd, proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Yes, We Are Open, an award-winning podcast from Monaris, hosted by FOTM Al Grego. Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. Join me May 11th at Christie Pitts as Sato becomes the first woman in our country to pitch against a professional men's team. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Building Toronto Skyline, a podcast and book from Nick Iones, sponsored by Fusion Corp Construction Management, Inc. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Joining me today, making his Toronto Mike debut, it's Brendan Canning. Welcome, Brendan.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Now, you enjoy your fresh craft beer in a glass.
I sure do. That's the way you drink beer. You drink it in a glass.
Well, you know what that means, Brendan? It means we don't get to hear you crack it on the mic.
Well, how about this? How about
smash it? Okay. You know what? That's even better. But I will crack mine. So this episode of Toronto Mike is fueled by Sunnyside Session IPA from Great Lakes Brewery.
No complaints so far.
It's a good summer beer, right? Because it doesn't hit you too hard. It goes down smooth.
You know what?
Tasty.
Today feels like a summer day. Last night felt like a winter day, and and on it goes.
Welcome to springtime in Toronto. Okay. Mm-hmm. You a Leafs fan?
I have been. I am currently.
So we won a series.
We sure did. We sure did. My collaborator Kentaro Akiyama just said he's naming his daughter Nylander. baby do any day.
Wow. Okay, that's they made that mistake with the. I guess you have to file what your team will be for that night, and they put Alex Nylander in the lineup instead of William Nylander. Did you hear that?
Right. Yeah.
So they almost would have booted Willie from the game, and he had a hell of a game. So that's only the second time in 21 years, I think, since we can say we won an actual series. So off to face the Panthers.
Yeah, off to face the Penguins.
The Penguins? No, the Panthers. Okay.
Oh,
so,
the Panthers.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Brendan, okay, so I have a heart out. You just came from you had a rehearsal?
I did, yeah. I have a project called Toro, Tauro, with my best gal, Cynthia Toro. And we have a show tomorrow night at Sound Garage, a new venue on Geary.
I was at it last Friday.
Oh, so was I. Change of heart. There
I was there. See, we were in the same room.
Oh, my God.
I quite liked it because the acoustics were good and sight lines are good, and it was a cool spot.
Yeah. So we're playing there tomorrow night.
Too funny. We were in the same room just Friday night. Okay, Brendan. Now, so we're going to talk, and I don't know what you're expecting here, but we're going to talk more than we're going to talk hHead, By Divine Right, Len, and Broken Social Scene. But don't worry, this is going to be compacted. But I want to shout out a couple of upcoming events off the top.
Yes.
The first event I want to shout out is May 9th at the Garrison.
Yes.
Let's get friendship right. What can you tell me about this free with a non-perishable food item event at the Garrison?
Well, it's a whole bunch of musicians and bands playing songs of the Tragically Hip. Ever heard of them?
I got a copy of Road Apples right over here.
There's a little Road Apples, too. I saw that the first Road Apples shows at the Horseshoe way back when. And some Gord Downey songs. So Toro are going to do Morning Moon, which is from a later era record. Good tune. And I think I'm jumping on stage with Kevin Hearn to play Chancellor from Coke Machine Glow.
Now, Kevin Hearn is a friend of Toronto Mike. He's an FOTM. Brendan, you're now an FOTM.
Hey.
Another FOTM I want to shout out is Stephen Stanley.
Oh, yeah, who's organizing this charity event, Food Bank Show, and we're heisting up the name Dave Bookman in honor of this. Old friend of mine. We go way back. We did go way back. R.I.P. Yeah.
And speaking of the Horseshoe, they have the nice tribute to Bookie outside the Horseshoe.
They sure do. And Elliot Lefko, who is also very prominently figured in throwing this event, was a big part of getting that plaque all up and running. So there you go.
Elliot, if you're listening, because Elliot famously in the TMU, the Toronto Mike universe, Elliot listens and loves Toronto Mike, but has refused my invitations to come on.
Oh yeah, man behind the scenes. Just likes to be. He likes to throw his minions out there.
I'm with you, Brendan. Except I watched Subversives, which is a documentary by Simon Head about the lowest of the low.
Oh yeah,
he's in that.
Yeah. I got roped into that one too.
So there goes his whole I don't do this stuff because he's in that one. So Elliot, I hope I see you at the concert hall on Saturday. Tomorrow. I'm going to be seeing Lowest of the Low at
there you go.
Concert Hall tomorrow. Okay, the second event I want to, and we're going to revisit the Let's Get Friendship Right at the end of this chat actually, and name check some other artists that are on the bill. But the second event I want to shout out off the top is TMLX 18, which is the 18th Toronto Mike Listener Experience, which is at Christie Pitts, beyond the left field fence where the Maple Leafs of baseball play. I mentioned off the top Sato. So she's a Japanese pitcher who's going to start for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it will make her the first woman to pitch against professional men in this country. Everyone is welcome to join me. There'll be a free gift from Toronto Maple Leafs for everyone who comes out to the TMLX part. Of course, it's a public park. Anyone can go see it, but come on out to our section and hang out and say hi to me. Brendan, will you be able to make...
What's the date? I heard May 11th.
May 11th, yeah. It's
you know
Sunday.
What? I got that day open. I like a little baseball at Christie Pitts.
And I'm aching to see how she does, pitching against these men. So I'll be with my crew, my people. Okay.
Yeah.
Yoni wrote in when I said you're coming on. Please tell Brendan I love him and I can't wait to see Broken Social Scene play in June. So can you shout out where beyond the Garrison where you'll be, not with Broken Social Scene?
Broken Social Scene in Toronto will be at History on June 21st, part of Toronto Jazz Fest.
That's a great venue too.
Yeah, we did that one in 2022 and we're coming back.
Okay, and we'll have more BSS talk in a moment here, but we're starting with a quote. Well, it's a clip. Noah Mintz was on this program.
Oh.
So are you ready? You got your beer.
Yeah.
I mentioned Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. You're taking home this history of Toronto Maple. That's a great book for you.
I love it.
About the history of Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. And just before I play this clip, there is a lasagna in my freezer from Palma Pasta.
Oh, damn.
Do you like Italian food?
I sure do.
Okay, you came to the right place, buddy. Okay, so I'm going to take care of you. Palma Pasta is delicious.
Thank you, Palma Pasta.
Hope you don't need their services anytime soon, but Ridley Funeral Home is here if you do, Brendan. And they gave you that measure.
You never know where life is going to take you. Sometimes it takes you to death.
And I'll shout out a couple more sponsors later in the program, but let's listen to FOTM Noah Mintz.
Basically, I met Brendan in university. He was like, it was the first week I was there, and I hated it. Like, I thought like everybody was like total dorks, and I was more of a dork, but it was just like St. Catharines, Ontario, Brock University, a bunch of underachievers, and they were not like fun people. And then we were like a dance, and I was like so bored. And then there was like, they were playing like Ministry, and there was this like redheaded literal dork dancing like a dork, and it's like, and like by himself to Ministry. And I went to my buddy Corey, who was my roommate, and I'm like that guy we're gonna be friends with. And
well, was it Jesus Built My Hot Rod? Is that what he was dancing to?
One of those songs, yeah. And I literally walked up to him. I'm like, dude, I think we gotta be friends. And he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, do you play guitar? He's like, yeah. I go, I play guitar too. I'm like, yeah. I go, you want to like start a band? He's like, yeah. And we just and we became instant friends at that moment, like instant friends.
You know, it's wild to me that at this young age in your life, you've already kind of played with, at this point in your life, you've played with Hayden and you've played with Brendan Canning. Like, think about that.
Yeah, I know.
Like, think about that.
I know, it's pretty incredible. And Gavin Brown.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Produced like Metric and worked with like Gord Downey, worked with like a million different people. So, anyway, and then I just convinced Brendan to drop out of school with me. And then and then we didn't know what to do. So at Longham McQuaid, I met these guys who looked like they were like huge, like Dinosaur Jr. fans. So I walked up to them like, hey, do you guys like Dinosaur Jr.? They're like, yeah, do you? I'm like, yeah. I go, are you guys a band? They're like, yeah. It's like, we don't have a singer. I'm like, oh, I'm a singer. And I'm like, it's like, can I join your band? They're like, cool. They're like, well, we need a bass player. I'm like, all right. So I actually asked Hayden to be our bass player. But he sucked on bass. and then so I said, hey, Brendan, Brendan never played bass before. I'm like, would you be interested in like playing bass for a band? And he's like, sure. So he just picked up the bass, started playing bass. And then within the year, there was like 5 guys in this band. Wow. And within that year, Brendan and I basically kicked out every single member of the band until it was just him and I.
Brendan, is Noah accurate with that head origin story?
I'd say, there's a conflation of some stories, but, for economy of time, I'll give him a B minus on that origin story. It's getting the point across.
He's got the flavor. Because to hear Noah tell the story, because I'll confess to being quite the Head fan here, okay?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it puts me in some exclusive company, I think.
Should have brought you a vinyl. Well, you know what? There's still time.
So you'll need a sequel episode because I have 8 hours of content and like 1 hour to do it. So you're going to have to come back.
Yeah.
To hear Noah tell the story, he made Brendan Canning. Like the Brendan Canning Canadian rock god we know today exists because of Noah Mintz.
Yeah. I mean, I could give you the actual, we met in Frosh Week, but we did not hit it off like he tells. But I think we were just like curious about each other since we were clearly the odd ones out at Brock U. But then flash forward to a few months later, and then we're both at a party and we're like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long, then it's like, okay, we've been through 4 months of university. And his bandmates, which were Hayden, Josh Malinsky, and Mitch, oh my God, I'm blanking on Mitch's last name, but who were actually a group called Polito later on, Mitch Roth. And they weren't going to come down for this gig in St. Catharines, so Noah and I became an acoustic duo and opened up for this group called the Progressive Minstrels. That's not me, is it?
That's you.
Oh my God!
You got to know your jingle. You got to know your ringtone.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Kenneth Montague.
Do you need to get that?
No, I don't. It's like yeah, I know my appointment is on.
Okay, listen. Say I'm on Toronto Mike. Do you not realize that this guy was on CNN Monday morning? That's what you tell that dog.
Yeah. Dr. Kenneth Montague, word of mouth dentistry, your friend and mine. Okay, so yeah. So we just started an acoustic duo and open up for the Progressive Minstrels at the Midnight Club. And
what's the name of this duo? Like I know the answer, but I find it interesting considering the name of the song I'm about to play.
Oh yeah, we were called The Happy.
So do you name your song Happy after this original name of the duo?
I think that, that was just, one of those jam space songs, and those were the lyrics that popped out for Noah.
Now, because we don't have unlimited time and you have a rather eclectic and fascinating rock and roll history, Brendan, like I really could do several hours with you. So for brevity's sake, I'm going to do the hot, sexy spots that have been bugging me forever. And one spot I'm going to stop at is the 1993 CFNY Discovery to Disc contest.
Yeah.
Maybe play a little, so not too much, but just give everybody a reminder. In fact, I'll bring it down. We all know Happy, but this is not even the version from that disc. Like, this is like, I'm assuming you made this song for your disc.
Yeah, we recut it. Yeah. You know, you got that pingy snare drum. But, you know, what are you going to do?
What do you think of Happy when you hear it in 2025?
I think there's some rookie musicians who don't quite know what they're doing, but they're doing the best they can do, and very much influenced by the time.
Why not 2 H's in Happy?
Good. You know what? Good question. No one's ever asked that. You're the first, and you know what? We call that a missed opportunity in the biz.
And you can't go back and get this right.
You can't go back. No, you can't go back. And we did try to make a video. We did make a video for this. It's a little bit terrible. And you know what? Considering your singles should be not 5 minutes long, I think this song almost runs close to 5 minutes. But what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I got to say, I own this Discovery to Disc album, and I really dug this song, which, spoiler alert, you guys win this contest.
We sure do.
But I believe the aforementioned Dave Bookman all but told Ron Hawkins and the guys from Lowest of the Low that they were going to win this. Do you know this story?
Well, I was hanging out with Dave a lot back then. But odds would have gone on Lowest of the Low if you were a betting person. But I think we probably just turned in a better performance that night.
That's what it took.
I think so. I mean, it's, when Miss America wins the pageant, everyone's got like the final, what would you do to change the world? Or the swim, that we were basically like at the swimsuit competition. And, I could get some pretty good height in my jumps back then. And I think that was enough to sway the judges. So Nirvana and Pearl Jam were popular. And who was the big group that sounded like
Stone Temple Pilots?
No, that sounded like Lowest of the Low back then. Like, who were they?
Oh, yeah. Most like a jangly pop group.
Maybe like the Gin Blossoms.
Gin Blossoms is a good jangly pop group.
Yeah.
But not as cool as Lowest of the Low.
No, I'd say Lowest of the Low probably has a better repertoire. But I don't know if they have a song as good as Hey Jealousy. I don't know, though,
I disagree. I'll take Rosie and Gray. I'll take...
Yeah, that's a nice tune. Good
Bleed a Little While Tonight with the harmonies of Steven.
Yeah, no, they had nice tunes.
Shakespeare My Butt is a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. We cannot deny.
So Noah tells me he felt so guilty for winning this contest that he offered to loan money to Lowest of the Low if they had already bought something because they thought they were getting this $100,000.
I mean, they were already making decent money at gigs. Like, they were doing better than we were. So I don't feel too bad for them.
Is it true that BC alt rock band from the 90s, Rhymes with Orange, gave you their H so you could have a second H in head?
Rhymes? How does that work? Do why do they
didn't need? They took the H. If you know Rhymes with Orange,
I mean,
they took the H out of Rhymes.
Oh, that part I missed. I must have missed that.
Brendan, you came to the right place. I'm going to catch you up on the 90s.
Yeah, please do. I remember that they had a bad van crash, and I remember seeing.
You were with was it Age of Electric?
Oh yeah. Oh, on that tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a memory of that, but
no one died.
Nobody died.
But it was a bad van. I remember that much.
No shout out to Ridley Funeral Home required.
No.
Do you remember though what you did with the 100,000?
Yeah, we misspent it. We bought some gear. Like I bought a bass and a David Eden rig, which could have just as easily done with an Ampeg situation. Mark bought some drums and this ridiculous rack system. Noah got his Mesa Boogie dual rectifier and probably a Gretsch. And And then we went out and, we hired Dave Ogilvy as a producer, who was, to be honest, more of a mixer. And and funnily, we sat down with Joe Ciccarelli to produce the record, and that's probably who we should have gone with in hindsight. But then Broken Social Scene, a bunch of years later, like 15 years later, we ended up working with Joe Ciccarelli. But yeah.
Did you?
And we were out in California, and just a young band trying to figure out how to make a record, where we should have just gone to the studio where we did the demos,
Right.
in Ottawa, Sound of One Hand Studios with Marty Jones, and we had done these demos, and the A&R crew from Toronto, like your Alan Reeds and your David Bendeth and your Kim Cooks, they were all with Warner and BMG and A&M. They were all interested from these demos. And then we made the record we did make in California, which I think did not hit the mark like it should have or could have. But you live, you know who said that? Alanis Morissette. You live, you learn.
And she had her own rebirth.
She sure did. And you know what? You can't take anything away from one of the great AMs of Canada, because there's a few of them.
Ottawa's own. Great. Absolutely. Ashley McIsaac is another one.
Yeah, so is Anne Murray.
You know what? We could do this all day.
Go ahead. Give me another one.
Or
do you want some help?
Give me another one. Oh, Al McInnes, defenseman with the...
No. I was going to go with Amanda Marshall.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one.
And then one of my
Birmingham.
bandmates in Broken, who also was in Stars.
Oh, Amy Millan, who's been down here. In fact, she did her Toronto Mike debut the same time that Sam Roberts was down here, so she could sneak in the side door and surprise Sam Roberts.
Oh, there you go.
And they both live in Montreal, but they had to meet up in South Etobicoke.
Oh,
that's how Canada works. Okay.
Yeah, that's how Canada works, folks.
Is it fair to say that with hHead is where you meet Gord Downey and the Tragically Hip? Because you guys played a tour of the Hip, right?
Yeah. We did some support dates that were in St. Louis, Minneapolis, Omaha, and a 3-night stand at the Metro, one of my favorite clubs in Chicago to this day. Yep.
Amazing. Now, quick question about this. We're almost out of head territory here. Okay. But there's another song up for the Discovery to Disc, which was credited to Hayden.
Oh, yeah.
Called Take.
Yes. But Noah did the vocals.
Yeah. So any conflict in the band that, hey, you're cannibalizing our chances to win this 100K because you're double dipping, which I actually think should have got you guys all disqualified and lowest of the low could just come up the middle. And
they sure could have. But, once again, the swimsuit competition, they fell a little short.
What do you think of Take?
I think that was a good tune. That was like got Hayden, got him off the ground, I guess. And then he sort of realized, like, oh, well, I could just do some singing myself, and developed into what he became. And I think we're all greater for it in the grand scheme of Canadian music and the totem that it is.
Without a doubt. Big hate. Actually, there's a hat here. Things are as bad as they seem.
Yeah.
That was a
classic
gift from Hayden. Okay.
Classic record.
So as we leave Head with 2 H's.
Yes.
I couldn't help but notice the track listing had, these are the names of the albums on that first Jerk. Is that the name of the first album?
No, that's the second album.
Second album.
Yeah.
What's the name of the first album?
Fireman.
I knew that. Fireman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remedial, Answers, Happy, University, Gypped, Jerk, Love, She's, Better, Stillborn, Will, Pimp, Stain. So this is intentional. You're going to be the one word.
That was the gag. Not a great gag.
I don't know. We're still talking about it in 2025, Brendan.
Yeah, but not for too much longer though. We're almost done.
Your final show was Eden Fest.
Yes.
Which is a fun fact. Eden Fest gets talked about quite a bit. So how was Eden Fest for you, and why does Head come to an end?
I think that just seemed like, our drummer, our final drummer in the band, Jason Ray, he was having a party weekend. I remember we were like, oh, we can't find Jason. It was just like, a classic festival, like no one got paid. And I think we had an all right show. I remember Jason Priestley was there. For some reason that
Well, you don't forget that. He helped make the Bare Naked Ladies in the United States.
Yeah, there you go.
It all comes full circle.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that was just like, what else are we gonna do? You know, the third album we released on Handsome Boy Records, it didn't do much, and I think, you know, you kind of know when your band is ready to, like, okay, let's wrap it.
You got to know when to call it.
Yeah. No one to hold them, no one to fold them.
Well, many don't have that skill set, and they hang on too long, and then you know, it's better to fade out than burn out than fade away. Okay. Yeah. Craig Clicks wrote in when he heard Brendan Canning was making his Toronto Mike debut and said, "An obvious. I was going to do this anyways, Craig," but he wrote, "Ask him about his time in By Divine Right with Feist."
Oh yeah.
So maybe a little bit about By Divine Right.
Sure. What do you want to know?
I want to know how you're not an OG member of By Divine Right. No. How do you end up in By Divine Right?
Well, I had known those guys for a long time, and we actually did hHead and By Divine Right, same van, across Canada. And we got back from that tour, and they had a guy named Cam Bull playing bass, and I sort of felt like, I don't know if Cam's the right guy, you know. And then I was at my parents' place, and Jose called out of my folks' place, and I sort of, you know, kind of felt like I knew the end. I knew the question was coming. And yeah.
I think he's a cool cat. He had a cool van or something when he came for his Toronto Mike debut.
Oh, yeah.
And I got like really nice, like cool dude vibes from the guy.
Yeah, Jose's great. Yeah, so that was pre-Feist. I did maybe 5 months or so, but, you know, I think just being in another band, and it's like, oh, we're not here. We're not even doing as good as hHead was doing. So that was disappointing. And to be honest, at that point, I was getting into to DJing, and I was, you know, sort of a bit disillusioned with where my music career had landed me, and just thought, it's like, okay, I'm done. But then spring of 98 rolls around, and then, you know, I was replaced by Rob Higgins, who did some time in Change of Heart and has his group Dearly Beloved. But then I came back in 98, and when Leslie was in too, and then we did the Phantom Power tour.
Were you at the small stage at Molson Park in Barrie for Pearl Jam in 98? No. Trick questions abound. Okay, Brendan, you know, I'm just trying to trip you up here.
No, but small stage at Molson Park for the Atlantis Palooza kind of thing. Wow. When I was playing with Spooky Ruben. Because we left. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was in that group. Yeah, you left that out.
I didn't know.
That's pre-By Divine Right.
Yeah, you'll have to fill in the cracks here. But that song kind of still haunts me because I'd see it on Much Music or whatever.
Yeah, I was with Spooky, 95, 96.
Okay, let me ask you kind of out of, so we are getting you to Broken Social Scene, okay? But I'm playing a song because, okay, Monday's guest here is Snow.
Oh, yeah, high school. I was, you know, funnily, I was talking about Snow today.
Is that right?
Because I had a funny session once when Broken was starting, and a session in Scarborough, it was me, and it was Greg Norrie, Snow, MC Shan, and keyboard player from the Pocket Dwellers, and me. And it was just a bizarre session. And but Snow, like, he jumped on the bass there, and he, you know, like, no, something more like that. And he was way more into reggae, you know, like,
it's all over his big hit.
Obviously. And again, he comes by it honestly, and, you know, talented guy. But that was a crazy session.
That's wild. I had no idea you had a Snow story.
Yeah. And plus, you know, I remember from high school, he would just be walking. He was a very gregarious guy. I never knew him.
So what high school is this?
That was Dunbarton High School. But he would walk down the hallways singing, and, you know, he just had a presence about him in high school.
What a small world, eh, Brendan?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you guys being booked back to back had nothing to do with your high school. Or his high school.
Yeah.
Or high school.
Oh, wait, booked back to back when? Because he's
on
coming
my
in
show.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's my next guest.
Yeah, he would not know me, and he probably wouldn't know Broken Social Scene. And
I'll ask him.
And I guarantee you, he may or may not remember that session with MC. I mean, unless, like, I highly doubt he remembers that session. I do, just for the pure weirdness of it.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to Darren O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought it up. Well, it's like, I got to cross promote the next episode, which will be cool, I think. But I also think, Informer, like that went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it was there for weeks.
Huge tune.
Huge tune.
I got the 45 at home.
You got the 45 at home.
I sure do.
Wow. Okay. Now, there's another huge Toronto jam, though, I want to play a little bit of and just find out if you have any role in this at all.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Well, you missed my part. Where's the?
Do tell, Brendan. What's your part? Tell me everything you can about.
You've missed. It's already done. You have the wrong version.
Okay, tell us the story.
Well, it's better if you play the version that I'm on.
What? How would I? I'm good if I went to YouTube here because I want to get this story. This is important Toronto history.
Well,
you gotta
get the spoken word bit. That's the single version. That's not the album version.
Okay, we're gonna get this right, everybody.
You gotta get the album version.
Stand by. Okay, we're gonna get the album version of Len's "Steal My Sunshine." Let's see if this is it. Let's listen. Does that sound right?
Might be. Oh yeah, that sounds like the album version. That's a much longer, spacey intro.
Hey Matt.
Yeah, Tim.
Hey, you talked to Mark lately?
I haven't really talked to him, but he looks pretty down.
He looks pretty down. Yeah, well, maybe we should cheer him up then.
What do you suppose we should do?
Well, does he like butter tarts?
I was lying on the grass of Sunday morning.
Brendan, tell me everything.
Well, I somehow ended up in Len. And I did a little spoken word bit heard in that part. And in another part in the middle of the song, we talk about Mark in the intro. And then we talk about Sharon in the middle part. So that'll be coming up after this next chorus.
Well, you're like a conductor. When you go up like this, I'm going to bring up the song in the background while we listen to you talk about how you ended up in Len.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. Well, Mark, Greg Norrie, myself, and various other people had a little side project called Rockets Glare Red. And it was kind of an emo-y type of band. We had like a 4-song cassette we never released. And we recorded it, some at Mark's and some at Ryerson, I think. Oh, here you go.
Come here. Wow, look at her.
I know.
Man, I've never seen Sharon look so bad before.
I did once before, but this is pretty bad.
Yeah, what do you think she got up to last night? Sharon! I love you!
Well, there you go. There's my involvement with
But
that
I think
song.
there's some minds being blown right now. I think people are fainting from the mind blow.
And years later, Mark would credit me because that's where I had my turntables when I was DJing in the early days. They would be at the Len House on Roxton Road. And then Mark credited me with finding that sample. But I think he kind of just did that to hitch his boat to the BSS train that was taking off.
Wouldn't blame him.
No, you can't blame him. He's a businessman, first and foremost.
Do you still go home and you see in your mailbox it's just crammed with like royalty checks from your spoken word contribution?
Yeah, you'd wish that happened. So we just won't talk about that.
Okay, well that's the real talk right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I got some money, but if I actually found the sample, then if it was me, I'd maybe shell out a little more money.
Oh, that's the song.
But
which,
it's also it's the Andrea Truse connection. How do you like it? More.
Yeah.
That's the break in that song.
Right, but still, these samples make that song, and
Well, there is no song without that sample.
No, I just want you'd be fairly compensated.
Yeah, well,
Especially now that you're an FOTM.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and life goes on. I got some money, bought some pedals, and then Kevin and I started Broken Social Scene. So
Okay, perfect.
it all worked out.
Perfect segue. I would say though, Brendan, if you were just the guy from hHead who was in my By Divine Right for a spell, who then had a role in
We can take this song down all the way down though. No, yeah, we've heard this song enough. You can hear it in Tropicana.
It's okay. I'm gonna kill.
There you go. Thank you.
Anything for you, Brendan. Anything for you. Okay.
If I was getting royalties on it, it'd be a different story.
I mean, if you're, I don't want to upset my guest here. You're enjoying your fresh craft beer. It's a beautiful Friday.
Yeah. No complaints.
Talking to Brendan Canning, for goodness sakes, who and I will be at the Garrison to see you.
Yeah.
And we're at the end, we're going to revisit that because love some of these artists. Many of these artists on that bill have been in this basement and are very familiar to the listenership. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. So you said you and Kevin Drew start Broken Social Scene.
Yeah, even though he had already had a thing with Charles Spearin and James and Emily were in that called Casey Accidental. So it was me hearing that sort of thought to myself, oh, I should be involved in this too. This sounds cool. And I knew Kevin a little bit from around town, seeing him at Rotate This and whatever, and he'd let me know he had a gig at the Mockingbird or wherever. And I never made it too, but always liked him. And then Broken Social Scene started.
And then yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada is 2025, and we're still in the game, putting out a new record.
Okay, that was going to be a question. I'm going to ask it right now since you opened the door there. Can we expect a new studio album from Broken Social Scene?
Sure.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, next year sometime.
How long has it been? 2000 how long has it been? It's been
17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what stage are you at if we want new Broken Social Scene?
Oh, we're getting close to the finish line.
Are you going to hire Noah to master it?
We've been working with for my Toro project. Yes, Noah is first and foremost in charge of mastering.
I like when I get the list of albums that Noah has mastered. It's
and
I don't even fully understand what mastering is.
Well,
does anybody?
No one does. He just
invoices. He listens. He invoices. He says, "I mastered this." What does that mean?
Yeah. His invoices are very low because I get the extreme friends and family rate.
Right. Well, you better give you. Come on. All right. So, Broken Social Scene. Checking the clock here. Here's what I'm going to do. Actually.
Yeah.
I am going to just give you another gift.
Oh,
okay. Wow. First, the gift of wisdom. Okay, the gift of wisdom is this,
which is you can't put a price on that.
Right, it's priceless to tell you that. And I assume, Brendan, you've got like a drawer or a closet or a room full of like old electronics, old tech, old cables.
You know what? It's I always think like, what am I supposed to do with all this shit? Because I have so many. Everyone has a box of cables.
Don't throw it in the garbage, Brendan.
No, I know I don't.
Those chemicals end up in our landfill.
I know.
It's not good for anybody.
I know.
But what if I told you could go to recyclemyelectronics.ca.
Please.
Put in your postal code. What part of the city do you live in?
I live front in Spadina.
Okay.
Right downtown.
Okay.
Shoo-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Life is giving you up. Oh, you can always go downtown. Or on The Simpsons, groundskeeper Willie says, "Toon."
Yes.
So recyclemyelectronics.ca, put in your postal code and find out where you can drop that off to be properly recycled. I want to shout out Nick Iones from Building Toronto Skyline. That's his podcast. And Nick, we talk about the new skyscraper going up at 1 Yonge Street where the Toronto Star building was. That's going to be the tallest skyscraper in the country.
Oh, can't wait.
We talked about CN Tower turned 50.
Oh my God.
And we talked about we talked to a guy who was up there doing the iron work on the CN Tower 50 years ago. It was amazing. It's a great podcast. I get to co-host it, and Nick Iones is a proud supporter of this show. So much love to Nick. And last but not least, this is the gift I was teasing you with.
Oh, right.
This is a wireless speaker.
Whoa.
Quality wireless speaker from Moneris.
Okay.
And with that wireless speaker, you, Brendan, will subscribe and listen to Yes, We Are Open, which is an award-winning podcast from Moneris, hosted by FOTM Al Grego. Al went to Regina, Saskatchewan. How many times do you think you've been to Regina, Saskatchewan?
Me? I don't know. 8 times?
8 times. Okay, Al's got 7 more to catch up to you. He did go to Regina, made his Regina debut. He visited with Tracy Bosch, the owner of Zippity Zoom Toys in Regina. And Tracy shared her inspiring story of how she started the toy store in 2009, juggling a newborn and a new business. And she talks about the evolution of the store, her background in retail, and her passion for toys. So you get all that.
You go, Tracy.
You go, Tracy. You go, Al. You go, Brendan. You listen to season 8 of Yes, We Are Open.
Okay.
All right, a question came in from Jimmy Cooper. With such a large band of widely varied members, how do you actually manage to schedule a practice? So this is about Broken Social Scene. I don't know how many people were in the band at its height. I don't know how many people are in the band today. You can speak to this, but it's like a collective.
Yeah, a little thing called group emails or group texts. Pretty basic.
Is it on Signal?
Signal. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Because you accidentally added me to one, and I know everything.
Yeah. Pretty basic. It's not as complicated as you might think. But it's complicated.
We won't name everybody, obviously, but it's worth noting, Feist was in Broken Social Scene.
She sure was.
You mentioned Amy Milan, who I quite like, and Stars, of course.
Yeah.
Maine, who am I thinking of? Emily Haynes.
Yeah.
Her sister's been here, but Emily has yet to be here, so tell her to get her butt over here.
Oh, well,
Okay,
get on it. I don't run Emily's affairs.
You don't interfere.
No. keep it purely on a friend basis.
Smart. But how does it ever get? I'm curious about that dynamic. I've seen Broken Social Scene many times, and there's a number of people on that stage. Like, how do you guys keep that herding those cats there?
Well, you just do. That's it. You just do.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
We're dealing with professionals. Yeah.
When you said so, you mentioned we can see at History, we can see Broken Social Scene pretty soon. And I hope everybody goes and buys a ticket if there's any available. Like, who will we see?
You will see pretty much the touring version of the band for the past bunch of years, but it's myself, Kevin Drew, Charles Spearin, Justin Peroff, Andrew Whiteman, Sam Goldberg, Ariel Engel, Jill Harris, and Evan not on that gig. David French will be on that gig, and we still need some trombone, so I have yet to reach out to Ernesto Barahona. Might be him. And we'll see who else. Can't say for sure, but that's pretty much who you would see.
Cool. Now, you've won 2 Junos for Alternative Album of the Year.
Uh-huh.
So you won those for You Forgot It in People and the self-titled album.
Correct.
Do you have physical copies of Junos, you yourself, Brendan Canning?
Yeah, I got one out at my folks' place, and I think the other one might be in my place.
Glad to hear it. But you don't know, is it on display on a mantle or something?
It's on a shelf, I think. Yeah.
Little taste of what I think. I think it's one of your bigger jams. We hear often on CFNY and elsewhere. Yes. But just
do you hear this one on CFNY?
I did when I listened to CFNY.
Oh yeah,
like all the time.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Who produced this?
Dave Neufeld, who is also producing the new record. Yeah.
Is it possible, Broken Social Scene, this might be your most, what I would call, accessible song? Like if you were in a room to build it, like I'm gonna write a hit.
I don't know. Tough to say. I mean, I think they're all pretty accessible, to be honest. You know, we're a pop group. You know, we're just a little bit left of center, maybe.
Any broken social scene, specific broken social scene inspirations you want to shout out here?
What do you mean, for this song in particular?
Well, no, I will not necessarily, unless that is what you'd like to share, but more overall, like any particular artists or bands that you seek to emulate or are inspired by?
Starting out,
Sure.
you know, a lot of bands we liked, like throughout the group, would be, you know, Pavement or Dinosaur Jr. or Tortoise or Boards of Canada or Aphex Twin and, you know, Los Lobos. I don't know, you know, somewhere.
Steve Berlin produced some hip.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah. You know, kind of in that ballpark.
Okay, cool. You're gonna listen a bit more. You don't mind if I turn this one up a bit?
Cocteau Twins, maybe.
We got a man straight in disguise. They know 3 completes the 5. This is a church that should believe. They all want to free the cause, 'cause they all need to dream a cause. They all need to be a cause.
So you and I were in the same room last Friday night on the Sound Garage, and I saw on keyboards FOTM Bernard Meza,
Yeah.
and that got me thinking about Cookie Duster.
Sure. Well, not only Bernard, but there was that you basically saw the Cookie Duster lineup last Friday. So Damon Richardson on drums, Gene O'Brien on vocals, Ian Blurton on guitar and production. So yeah, you basically saw the Cookie Duster lineup last Friday. As I was looking up on stage, I'm like, oh yeah, there you go.
Are there any bands you've been in we haven't mentioned yet, Brendan?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now I want to hear them.
I was in the John Critchley group for a spell there. John, who was in 13 Engines.
Of course.
Yeah.
More was a big jam from 13 Engines.
Yeah. So I was in the John Critchley group.
Red in the Bone? Is that-
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. From the Robertson Davies novel.
Which they made me, I was happy to do it, but they made me read that in...
Yeah. Good novel.
And the other one that we had to read was Fifth Business.
Yeah. Another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl Jung and everything.
Uh-huh.
Jeez. Okay. I'm gonna start a book club.
Okay. So what other band? You know, I played with M. Griner for a couple runs.
Love her.
Yeah, me too. I played a little spell in a country group called the Hot Shots. Also, that Bob McNiven was the leader of that group. He did some time in the Stompin' Tom band.
I want to shout out Banjo Duncan Fremlin, who was dear. He passed away, Mr. McNiven here.
Oh.
I think he passed away. Oh, God, imagine Bob McNiven.
Oh, did he die?
And yeah, and I remember Banjo Duncan Fremlin coming over, and we were talking about him. But he's doing something with Douglas Cameron, of Stompin' Tom type tribute.
Oh, no
thing.
kidding.
Small world,
and
man.
The link it to Len, Michael Clifton, the drummer for the Hot Shots, used to own a record store on Markham called Happy House.
By the Honest Eds.
Yeah. And that's where Mark and I would go to buy Mark from Len and I would go to buy records. And I remember buying Herbie Hancock Maiden Voyage there back when you could buy it for $14.
Dude, I actually often think about the cool fucking stores on Markham.
Well, you try not to think about it because it was a sad day in Toronto, getting rid of like a really, original street. Markham was an original, you took down a neighborhood.
And I try not to think about it as well, but there's a new Asterix. Asterix? Yes, not to be confused with Asterix.
Right.
Asterix movie or series or something, but I used to go to Markham Street to go to a bookstore there where I would buy my Asterix comics.
Yeah.
Like this
well,
was
there
a
used to
ritual.
be. Oh yeah, yeah. It was on the east side of the street.
Love that.
I think I got that I got a coffee table book. It's called, it's like a pro wrestling, like it's a big coffee table book, Exquisite Mayhem.
Okay, what era of pro wrestling are you talking about?
I'm like, I mean, the book spans a lot, but I'm 80 to 83.
Okay, I'm 80. I'm like 85 to 89.
Okay, yeah.
I just missed each other.
Yeah,
But shout out to Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Oh, sure. I saw Rowdy at Maple Leaf Gardens. Yeah.
Oh man, we could do a wrestling show.
Yeah,
okay,
we could.
We're great. Again, you were in rehearsals, so we pushed this, and then I got a bolt. But it's worth mentioning. In 2021, Pitchfork listed Broken Social Scene as one of the most important artists of the last 25 years.
Wow, we'll take it.
Get that on a T-shirt.
We will take it.
And I would be remiss if I didn't point out. Maybe I just play a little spell here. I have you captive here, Brendan. So
that's okay.
I should be talking up this intro.
Yeah, you should be. Come on.
Well, you should be. You know exactly how to hit this post.
Yeah, this has got some drama to it. This is like Broken Social, a little darker than Broken Social, and darker cousin. Here we go, folks. Hit the wall. Check out that bass line. Some classic Justin Peroff drum beats there. What is that guy singing about? Yeah, we never played this one live. Good tune.
2008.
Yeah.
Something for All of Us is the name of the album. It's a solo album.
Yeah.
And it was part of this like series, right?
Yeah,
like the Broken Social Scene presents.
It's just more like a Broken Social Scene record directed by me, and Kevin's was like a Broken Social Scene record directed by him.
Any more of these in store?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I got this one. I got You Gots to Chill. I got Home Wrecking Years, and now I'm working on Toro, which is, my songs.
Okay.
But figured I'd get someone who's a better singer to sing them.
That's what Hayden thought he was doing back in '93.
Yeah, well, I'm going the opposite.
You're going the opposite.
Yeah.
And again, Hayden's been over. I've talked to Noah, but it blows my mind because Hayden has a great voice and everybody loves it. It's just wild to think there's a time where he's like, I shouldn't sing my own songs.
Well, we all gotta.
He was young.
Even dwarves started small.
I think it was Gord. Who was it? No, I don't want to get it right. Somebody in the Tragically Hip once said, "We're the world's tallest midgets." He said, and I don't know if that's a.
Is that a? I don't know if that's a word you can use. I don't even. Anyway.
And I think that the crux of what he was talking about was that they could sell out arenas in Canada multiple days in a row, but they are in when you were with them, they're in smaller clubs.
Yeah. In America.
Why do you think it is?
Not all the
this
time.
is a good way. We're going to finish up again with the honoring Dave Bookman, and this is the second year that there's been a live tribute show to honor Dave Bookman, and we're going to close up with Let's Get Friendship Right.
Yeah.
But why do you think it is that the Hip were so massive here? And I mean, they were successful. I had this argument with Jake Gold. Like they were popular, but they weren't going to be able to come close to filling an arena anywhere outside of Canada.
Here's a good part of the song. Let's give it. More the shoegazy part of the song.
It's a good fucking song.
They wrote songs about Canada, and there's a lot of rock bands in America, and it's like, why did Midnight Oil only have one big record in America? Or why? I think they had the career they had, and it was a perfectly fine career. Who would be mad if you had the Tragically Hip's career? They got to go to Europe, did great business over in Europe sometimes, and they didn't do terrible business in the U.S. They just didn't play hockey arenas. But if you saw them in Chicago, they'd be playing to, 2,700 people. If you saw them in New York, same thing. If you saw them in Seattle, same thing. But then if you saw them in Eugene, Oregon, maybe it'd be a little smaller. Or if you saw them in Atlanta, maybe it'd be a little smaller. But, that's the way it goes. Some bands
And we love them.
Yeah, some bands are bigger in different markets, and that's showbiz, folks.
And like Gord said, it's better for us if you don't understand.
Yeah, there you go.
So Let's Get Friendship Right is May 9th. So we're talking on May 2nd. I'll drop this episode right away before I head out to the Junction. The Garrison, which is 1197 Dundas Street.
Dundas and Ossington.
Dundas
Very
and Ossington.
popular corridor.
Going to be biking over on May 9th. I can't wait. So it's a free event, but you bring a non-perishable food item because...
Or two.
Or three or four
Yeah.
or five. It's going to a great cause, the Daily Bread Food Bank.
Yeah.
This is presented, I want to shout out Indy 88 because my dear friend and beloved FOTM, Bob Willett, is on that station 6 days a week. So
Yes, Bob. Yes.
Indy 88 and Departure, which is the new name for something. There's a whole controversy there, but
Missed that one.
I'll fill you in right as we
Yeah,
take our photo by
please
the
do.
Toronto tree. And we already shouted out Stephen Stan. Here's another connection to FOTMs, though. The artwork, and it's great artwork I was looking at, is Kurt Swinghammer. So
yeah.
there's his Sam the Record Man right there. Kurt's a good FOTM, as is his wife. And just to shout out a few artists here. So we've been talking a lot about Ian Blurden, as one does.
Yeah.
He's in like the house. He's in the band, I guess.
Yes.
There's a band. Okay.
Yeah.
So a few. I'm gonna just bear with me here.
We're not using the house band. I've had enough of those guys.
You don't need.
I've had enough of Blurton and Anna and all the rest of them. We're just doing it ourselves.
Good for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, self-serving, but whatever. This is Toronto Mike. You're not on CBC here. So I'm just going to shout out the FOTMs who are on the bill, okay?
Yeah.
Sky Wallace is on this bill.
Yeah.
We love Sky.
Love Sky.
I was introduced to Sky by Lowest of the Low.
Oh, there
she
you
was
go.
Opening for them.
There
Okay.
you go.
And this is a gentleman who's actually making his Toronto Mike debut on Tuesday. Menno Versteeg from Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
So he's
Menno.
on the bill.
Yeah, Menno.
Menno.
Yep.
I'm going to shout out Kevin Hearn, who's been on the show a
Yeah,
couple of times. And
yeah.
we love Kevin. And Kevin was there with Gordon, his final journey there.
Yeah, he sure was.
When Peter Mansbridge talks to Gord Downey, that's Kevin's living room.
Uh-huh.
And future FOTM Ben Kowalowitz. How did I do?
You know what? I just call him Ben.
Ben from Billy Talent.
Ben from Billy Talent.
Who hasn't yet made his debut, but he will. But Talia Schlanger is on the bill.
Well, there you go. Former NPR, CBC.
Yeah. And she's
Now,
great.
yeah.
She's absolutely. Andy Mays and Josh Finlayson. So the
Heard
Sky
of those
Diggers.
guys? Heard of those guys?
Absolutely. Again, just cherry picking. But Hugh Christopher Brown, also known as Chris
Oh,
Brown
yes.
from the Bourbon Tabernacle
Yeah.
Choir.
Stayed at his place a few times in Brooklyn, Park Slope, with By Divine Right.
Amazing.
And with, I forgot bands I've been in.
Yeah.
Valley of the Giants.
Okay, because I'm keeping a list here.
Yeah,
Thank
keep
you.
that one. Yeah, it's got to reach 20 because it's been 20.
Dave Hodges' favorite artist of all time. It's not Gordon Lightfoot like some people think.
Oh, no, it's Kathleen Edwards, isn't
That's
it?
a good guess, too, because he loves Kathleen Edwards. But it's
Oh.
actually Justin Rutledge.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Justin Rutledge.
He's He's going to be at this show.
Big fan. Big fan.
And to wrap it up, I'm going to just shout out a former member of Change of Heart, John Bora.
Yeah. You got Peter and Leia of July Talk, too. I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know, I mean, I should ask them, of course. I should ask them. But why not why not call yourself July Talk? I guess there's more members than just them in July Talk.
Well, there is.
Yeah, I get it.
I would say if you were to see a picture of July Talk, and it was
More
just
than
the two of them, if
Hmm.
it was just the two of them in the band photo, I don't think anyone would bat an eye.
So we lost Dave Bookman 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned CFNY earlier, but he was a great host on CFNY. He was a great host on Indie 88.
Yep.
He was a lover of indie music, a great supporter of indie music, and it's great that you guys are doing this for him in his memory.
Yes.
And I should shout out one more person who's going to host the night, Josie Dye, who's been over here.
Yeah. Love Josie.
And she worked with Dave at both those stations,
Mhm,
of
mhm.
course. And now
Yeah.
she's on Chum.
Oh, that I did not know.
Yeah.
Good
She
for her.
left the indie morning show and went to Chum.
Well, we all got to make moves in life.
I don't think Chum is playing any Broken Socials.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
How was this for you, Brendan? Did you have a good time?
Had a great time.
And you're gonna
Is
take
this the outro music?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was going to be good. As soon as I heard Chuck D I'm like, okay, I'm on the right show.
You're in co-dance. This, by the way, it's a fun fact. So come soon, I think in a couple of weeks.
Is this the instrumental version of Rosie and Gray?
Correct.
Okay.
And now ask me who made this version. Because you won't guess.
No, it sounds like a band like Travis or something.
That would be wild. Okay. It's Rob Pruce, who was a musical prodigy as he was a 15-year-old when he joined the Spoons.
Oh.
Burlington band you might have heard of.
Heard of them.
He had a special note to play in these bars and stuff because he wasn't legal, but he played as the keyboardist. And he put together this cover for me, and he added some Easter eggs to the end. So after I say a little intro, we'll react to the Easter eggs. How does that sound?
Yes. Isn't that good, though, how I knew this song?
Yeah.
It's testament to the tune.
I've been closing episodes of Toronto Mike with Rosie and Gray from Shakespeare in My Butt for 13 years. So
there you go.
Love that song.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,684th show.
That's my favorite number.
Get a tattoo of that number.
Yeah.
This is important. First of all, go see Broken Social Scene because these are living legends in our midst. That's amazing. But definitely go to the Garrison and support this wonderful, wonderful concert. I'll be talking more about it with Menno next week. But its doors are at 7 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be a fun night.
2 sets, one at 8 and one at 10 o'clock. We're old though. Don't go too late. Okay.
No, not too late. No, we're in the first set.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Much love to all who made this possible. Again, that's Great Lakes Brewery, Palma Pasta. Don't leave without your lasagna. Maneris, you got your speaker. Mm-hmm. Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. Everybody, join me at 1:30 p.m. on May 11th. RecycleMyElectronics.ca, Building Toronto Skyline, and Ridley Funeral Home. See you Monday with snow. What song is this?
Nice.
That's the Friendly Giant theme song.
Sure is.
Okay, what is this? That's Alfie Zappacosta's Pizza Nova jingle.
Oh, I did not know that was a Zappacosta jam.
What's this?
Oh, now some Spoon. A little Romantic Traffic.
So he co-wrote this with Gord Depp. This is Romantic Traffic from
good
Spoons.
tune. Oh, here's Roland Rayner, first head drummer in the video. Oh.
Okay, so that was, of course, Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet.
It sure was.
Shout out to Don Pyle, who's been over. And
we're back. We're back to Rosie and Gray.
Thanks for this, Brendan. I love this.
So there you go. Roland Rayner, Romantic Traffic video.